Something is happening to you right now that you do not have a name for. You can feel it, not in your head, in your body. Something shifting, something restless, something underneath the surface of your daily routine that is pushing upward like a root through concrete. You cannot point to it. You cannot explain it to anyone. You just know that something inside you is no longer willing to stay where it has been. And you have been calling it anxiety. You have been calling it depression. You have been calling it getting old. You have been calling it everything except what it actually is. What it actually is change. Your life is about to change. Not because something is going wrong, because something is going right. Something deep inside you, something older than your fears and your habits and your routines, has decided that the way things have been is no longer the way things are going to be. And that decision was not made by your conscious mind. It was made by something beneath your conscious mind, by the part of you that knows what you need before you know what you want. And that part of you is rearranging everything right now, whether you cooperate or not. Today I am going to give you 5 signs that this change is already underway. 5 things that are happening to you right now that you have been misinterpreting as problems. They are not problems. They are preparations. And once you see them for what they are, the fear will turn into readiness. And readiness is the doorway to the best chapter of your life. My grandmother told me that life moves in seasons, not calendar seasons, soul seasons. And the transitions between soul seasons do not feel like transitions. They feel like collapses. She said, before the new life begins, the old life must fall apart. And the falling apart always feels like dying. But it is not dying. It is molting, the way a snake sheds its skin. The snake does not enjoy the shedding. The old skin cracks, it itches, it pulls. The snake is uncomfortable for days. But underneath the old skin, a new one has already grown. Fresh, bright, fitted to the size the snake has become, not the size it used to be. You are the snake. The discomfort you are feeling right now is the old skin cracking. And underneath it, something new has already formed. You just cannot see it yet because the old skin is still in the way. The first sign that your life is about to change is that you are losing interest in things that used to matter to you. Things you enjoyed for decades have gone flat. The television shows you used to watch every night don't hold your attention anymore. The social gatherings you used to look forward to now feel like obligations. The hobbies that used to fill your afternoons now feel like noise. The routines that used to comfort you now feel like cages. And you are worried about it. You are thinking, what is wrong with me? Why don't I care about the things I used to care about? Am I depressed? Am I declining? Is this what giving up looks like? It is not giving up. It is outgrowing. Your soul has grown larger than the container it has been living in. The shows and the gatherings and the hobbies were the right size for the person you were 5 years ago. But you are not that person anymore. You have been changed by everything you have experienced since then. Every loss, every silence, every long night, every realization, all of it has expanded you. And the things that fit the old you no longer fit the new you. That is not depression. That is evolution. And evolution always starts with the death of comfort in the old form. I knew a man named Raymond who thought he was falling apart at 67. Everything he used to enjoy had gone stale. His weekly card game with the same 4 men felt pointless. His morning routine felt mechanical. His garden, which he had tended for 30 years, felt like a chore instead of a joy. And Raymond went to his doctor and said, I think something is wrong with me. I don't enjoy anything anymore. And the doctor ran tests and found nothing. and Raymond sat in his living room confused and afraid because the tests said he was fine, but he didn't feel fine. He felt like the world had lost its color. And then something happened. Raymond's neighbor invited him to a woodworking class at the community center, and Raymond said no 3 times before he said yes. And the first day he walked into that shop and smelled the sawdust and picked up a chisel, something in his chest unlocked. A door he didn't know was closed swung open, and within 6 months Raymond had built 14 pieces of furniture and was teaching other people how to build them. The card game didn't come back. The old garden didn't recover its magic, because those things belonged to the old Raymond. The woodworking belonged to the new one, and the new one had been trying to arrive for months. The flatness was not the end, it was the clearing. Life was emptying his hands of the old things so they could be free to pick up the new ones. I want to explain why this sign scares people so much. Because losing interest in the things that defined you feels like losing yourself. If I am not the man who plays cards on Tuesday, who am I? If I am not the woman who tends the garden, what do I do? The things we do become the things we are. And when the doing stops bringing joy, the being feels threatened. You are not losing yourself. You are finding yourself. The real one. The one that was buried underneath decades of habits and routines that you chose not because they lit you up, but because they were available and acceptable and expected. The real you might not play cards. The real you might not garden. The real you might want to build things or paint things or write things or travel somewhere you have never been or learn something you have always been curious about. But you will never discover that if your hands are still full of the old things. The flatness is life prying your fingers open, not to take from you, to make room. And if you let it happen, if you stop gripping the old things out of fear and start opening your hands out of curiosity, what lands in them next will surprise you. It always does. Because the new thing is never what you would have chosen. It is what was chosen for you, by the part of you that knows you better than you know yourself. Before I share the next teaching, I need to tell you something. I am not going to be here forever, and most of what I know was never written anywhere. So I sat down and I wrote it, all of it. 20 teachings, 4 parts, in the order they were meant to be received. The ones about recognizing when your life is shifting. The ones about trusting the change even when it feels like loss. The ones I have never said on camera. It is called the native way, and it costs less than 1 dinner you will not remember. Scan the code on your screen or look in the comments, but do not leave yet. Because the next 4 signs are the ones that people tell me described exactly what they were going through the week they heard this teaching. The second sign that your life is about to change is that people are falling away. Friendships that lasted decades are suddenly fading. Family members you used to be close to are drifting. People you thought would be in your life forever are becoming strangers. And you are grieving it. You are fighting it. You are trying to hold the relationships together the way you hold a handful of water, squeezing tighter. And the tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. That slipping is not failure. It is selection. Life is removing the people who belong to your old season so that there is room for the people who belong to your new one. Not all of them will leave. The ones who are meant to stay will stay without you having to grip. The ones who slipped through were not lost. They were released. And the releasing, as painful as it is making space for connections you cannot yet see. Connections that are coming. People who match the person you are becoming, not the person you were. My grandmother said, when the river changes direction, the water that was flowing with you suddenly flows away from you, and you think the water abandoned you. But the water didn't change. The river did. You changed direction, and the water that was beside you when you were flowing east cannot be beside you when you start flowing south. That is not betrayal. That is physics, spiritual physics. The people leaving your life are not leaving because you failed. They are leaving because your river turned. And the people who will appear next, the ones standing on the banks of your new direction, they are waiting for you downstream. You just haven't reached them yet. The third sign that your life is about to change is that you are suddenly unable to tolerate things you used to accept. The small lies people tell, the passive-aggressive comments at family dinners, the relationship that has been draining you for years but that you endured because enduring was easier than confronting. The job or the routine or the commitment that you have been showing up to out of obligation rather than desire. Suddenly all of it has become unbearable, not gradually, suddenly, as if someone turned up the volume on every discomfort in your life, and now you can hear all of them screaming at the same time. That is not you becoming difficult. That is your tolerance expiring. Your soul has carried these things for years, maybe decades, without complaint. And it has finally reached capacity. The way a shelf holds weight until one day, without warning, it breaks. Not because the last thing placed on it was heavy, because the total weight finally exceeded what the shelf was designed to hold. You have exceeded your capacity for tolerating things that don't serve you. And the intolerance you are feeling is not a character flaw. It is an announcement. Your soul is announcing that the negotiation is over. The things you used to accept are no longer accepted. The compromises you used to make are no longer available. And the people and situations that relied on your endless tolerance are about to discover that it has an end. And the end is now. I knew a woman named Eunice who tolerated her sister-in-law's cruelty for 27 years. 27 years of snide comments at holiday dinners. 27 years of being criticized for her cooking, her house, her parenting, her weight, her hair, her everything. And Eunice smiled through all of it because keeping the peace was more important than keeping her dignity. That was the deal she made at 35. And the deal held. Until it didn't. Eunice was 62 when the shelf broke. It was a Tuesday. Her sister-in-law made a comment about the Thanksgiving turkey being dry. The same comment she had made in different forms for 27 years. But this time something inside Eunice shifted. Something that had been holding for decades finally let go. And Eunice put down her fork and looked at her sister-in-law and said quietly, calmly, with no anger and no drama, "You have been insulting my food for 27 years, and I am done listening to it. If my table is not good enough for you, there are other tables." And the room went silent. And Eunice's husband looked at her like she had grown a second head. Because this was not the Eunice he knew. This was the new one. The one who had been forming underneath the tolerance for years, waiting for the shelf to break, waiting for the moment when the soul said no more. And from that Tuesday forward, Eunice's life changed. Not because the sister-in-law changed, because Eunice did. The tolerance expired, and what grew in its place was a woman who could no longer be spoken to that way. Not because she decided to be tough, because she had outgrown the version of herself that was willing to shrink. The fourth sign that your life is about to change is that you are craving solitude in a way you never have before. Not loneliness, solitude. You want to be alone, not because you are sad, because something inside you needs quiet to complete its work. The way a caterpillar needs the darkness of the cocoon to become what it is becoming. You cannot transform in public. You cannot become the next version of yourself in a room full of people who only recognize the current version. The craving for solitude is your soul asking for privacy. It is saying, I need space. I need silence. I need time without performance and without explanation and without anyone watching. because what is happening inside me right now is delicate and private, and it cannot be done under observation. If you are craving time alone, and it is scaring you because you think craving aloneness means you are withdrawing or declining or giving up, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not giving up. You are going inward, to the place where the real work happens, the work of becoming. And becoming requires solitude the way a seed requires soil, dark, quiet, hidden, until the new thing is ready to break the surface. My grandmother would disappear for days at a time. She would tell the family, "I need to be with myself for a while." And she would walk to a place on the land that was hers alone, and she would sit there, sometimes for a day, sometimes for 3. And when she came back, something had changed. Not visibly, but you could feel it. She was clearer, calmer, more certain, as if she had gone somewhere and received instructions that the rest of us were not allowed to hear. And I asked her once what she did during those days alone, and she said, "I listen. I stop talking, and I stop doing, and I stop performing, and I listen. And the thing that speaks to me in the silence tells me what is coming next, and it is always right." That listening, that deep, quiet listening that can only happen in solitude, is what your craving is asking for. Honor it. Do not fight it. The solitude is not the enemy. The solitude is the operating room where the change is being performed, and you need to be still and let the surgeon work. The 5th sign that your life is about to change is the simplest and the most overlooked. You feel it, in your gut, in your chest, in the part of your body that knows things before your mind catches up, a feeling that something is coming, not dread, not fear, something between excitement and nervousness, a hum, a vibration, as if the ground beneath your life has started to tremble, and you are the only one who can feel it. That feeling is real. It is not your imagination. It is not anxiety masquerading as intuition. It is your body detecting a shift that has already begun at a level your conscious mind cannot access yet. The way animals feel an earthquake before the ground moves, your body is feeling the change before the change arrives. And the feeling is asking you to do one thing: trust it. Not understand it, not plan for it, not try to control it. Just trust it. Something is coming, something good, something different, something your current life has been preparing you for without your knowledge. Every loss was preparation. Every silence was preparation. Every sleepless night and every confusing day and every moment of feeling lost was the road leading here, to the edge of the change. And the edge is where you are standing right now. And the only thing left to do is step forward, not knowing what is on the other side, not needing to know, just trusting that the same force that brought you this far has not brought you here to leave you. It has brought you here to transform you. Let it. I want to tell you about this feeling because I have felt it myself. 3 times in my life I have felt the ground tremble before the change arrived. The first time I was 30 and I didn't know what it was, and I ignored it, and the change came anyway and knocked me flat because I wasn't ready. The second time I was 50 and I recognized the trembling, and I braced myself, and the change came, and I survived it because I was prepared. The third time I was 68, and the trembling started, and instead of ignoring it or bracing for it, I did something different. I welcomed it. I said, "I feel you. I don't know what you are, but I trust you. Come." And the change that arrived that third time was the most beautiful one of my life. It brought me to the work I do now, to these teachings, to you. And I would have missed it if I had fought it. I would have missed you if I had clung to the life I had before the trembling started. The trembling was not the threat. The trembling was the invitation. And the change that followed was not the loss. The change was the gift. And every terrible, uncomfortable, confusing, frightening thing that happened in the months before the change arrived was not the storm. It was the clearing of the runway, so the new life could land. That is what is happening to you right now. The runway is being cleared. It doesn't look like a runway yet. It looks like destruction. It looks like things falling apart. It looks like losing. But it is building. Underneath the losing, something is being built. You can't see it yet because you are standing too close. But one day, maybe soon, maybe next month, maybe next year, you will step back far enough to see the full picture. And the full picture will show you that every loss was a removal, and every removal was making room. And the room was for something that could not have arrived if the space had been occupied by the old things. And you will laugh, or cry, or both, because you will see that the hardest season of your life was also the most important one, the one that made everything after it possible. 5 signs: the old things going flat, the people falling away, the tolerance expiring, the craving for solitude, and the feeling in your gut that something is coming. 5 signs that you have been reading as endings. They are not endings. They are the last page of a chapter, and the next page, the first page of the new chapter, is blank, and it is waiting for you. Not the old you, the new one, the one that has been forming underneath the discomfort and the confusion and the loss, the one that is almost ready to break the surface. Let it. Stop fighting the change. Stop mourning the old skin. Stop trying to hold the water that is flowing away. Let it all go, and stand still, and breathe, and trust that what is coming is worth everything it costs to get here. Because it is. It always is. The best seasons of your life have always followed the hardest ones. And this hard season you are living through right now is not the end of your story. It is the door to the chapter that makes every other chapter make sense. If what you heard today stayed with you, the book is there. The Native Way. 20 teachings, 100 pages, written the way I would speak to you if we were sitting together. Scan the QR code on the screen with your phone or find the link in the comments. Read 1 chapter, sit with it. Now I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, which of the 5 signs are you feeling right now? I read every comment. And if this is the kind of conversation you have been looking for, subscribe to this channel. We are not collecting viewers here. We are collecting people who remember. Come back next week. I am not done teaching yet.